Well, the last one on the day, we finally get into it. I think this one's probably the most tantalizing prospect of the afternoon, evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world.
We're going to finish things off in a banger.
Yeah, Team Dignitas, NiP, Nuke.
Nuke as well. Dignitas probably the most well-versed Nuke team, I would say, in the scene right now. Played it the most, statistically. Had some good results on it as well. But as Chad pointed out, NiP no strangers to it as well. They're one of the most, I would say, in terms of innovations, I've seen some really cool executions from them, mainly towards the squeaky door and the lower bomb side. They've got some really cool executions there. We pointed it out last time we were casting as well. It's difficult to call, you know. Magic Boy in some fantastic form right now, regardless of food poisoning or not. He completely wrecked NRG.
Yeah.
I have to say, it was interesting that Chad went for the prediction of energy, winning that game, considering the form Dignitas are in right now. But, you know, everyone's their own.
Yeah, very, very, surprising. Perhaps he was doing it on the basis of Magic Boy's troubles.
Yeah,
and
sure,
speaking
maybe
of troubles, we might get food poisoning from a camera. I'm dizzy, you know what I mean.
I was at the same restaurant he got food poisoning from, and I actually sent my food back and got my money because I actually realized it was horrible. I could see it in myself. The burger was frozen in the middle, so I was like,
I don't know what restaurant you guys were at.
It was called Bud Burger in Moscow restaurant. Do not go there.
Oh, you got it in Moscow and then flew here. Oh, that's even worse. That's unfortunate.
Yep.
Yeah. So either way, the point I was going to make, and we'll come to it in a second as the pistol gets underway, is an interesting comparison made by a lovely analyst we all know, the Angry Ginger Thorin. We'll get to that in a minute. Action's about to unfold. Exist. Going to be the first in. Lovely flash. Bounced in, and it's going to be Get Right that takes down MSL. Freiburg follows up. Ravino falls. It's going to be a bomb plant in and a pistol round. Very important on Nuke. Remember that. Because Dignitas are very good at picking up T-sided rounds. In fact, in Moscow, it was, I think, fairly even in terms of distribution. It was not the most CT-sided map. It was something like 43% of the rounds on this that were won on the terror side, which is a bit more surprising than I expected. This time, though, Config 1 versus 3 has to pull it back. Well, we've got another round going to the terrorist side. It's Config 2 HP. No kit to work with. Taps Bomb tries to bait them out. He's got to get all headshots. Can't find the first. Does now get down Michael Lilly. And suddenly Get Right's in a 1 versus 1. Now Get Right does have armor and a Tech 9. And without the kit, Config's going to back away and try and save his armor for the next round. That will give NiP the victory. And Get Right smartly knows he's trying to get to the garage, but can't get on top of the Twinkie in time.
Yeah, well, there it is. He wants to save his Tech 9 and armor at this point. Trying to find Configs on 2 HP. He did pretty good work there, to be fair, finding those 2 frags against all odds. Bomb goes down. It was quite a fast upper execution there from NiP. A smoke from the hut towards main entrance. Flashes come in as well. Nailing that first clock headshot. Bomb goes down. Reasonable retake from Dignitas. Did everything they could there, but ultimately was too much of a stretch to have a Config to finish things off. We go to the second round. It is a force by quite a heavy one from Team Dignitas here. 2 scouts, a UMP as well from Magus Boy. Go with Magus Boy. That's what Anders is calling him, but maybe we should stick to what we know.
As Magus Boy.
Yeah.
The tweet I was talking about, by the way, is Thorin said,
"Oh, hold on.
Pretty. I'm never gonna have time to talk. This is just explosive. Config already takes down Exist. I will stuff it in here. He said watching Dignitas at Epicenter was like watching the
Yep,
Config.
Shut up, Matt. Let's get on with this.
He's one of the players I was mentioning. Another lovely shot. It was like watching a modern day Forrest and Get Right in Magisk Boy and Config. So now we get to see them go head to head, the young and the old, in a battle of Denmark versus Sweden. And I have to say, the future looks bright for Denmark. I did say, of all the teams in the world, or all the countries in the world, they would be the only team to beat North America in an under 20 matchup was Denmark. And we're finally seeing that talent rise to the top.
Well, Config, what a fantastic start that was to this round. The scouts outside, finding 2 headshots as well. That's Exist and Freiberg going down. Still in contention of the round, though, as Get Right makes his way towards low. He's been tagged as well. These scouts have had so much impact on this round already. And it's going to be Rubino finishing off a low HP Get Right there. So 5-on-2, you'd assume the round's over at this point. Not really much they can do here, but they do find 2 frags in return. Now it goes down to a 3-on-2. A winnable situation at least with 40 seconds remaining. Config, though, he's towards the ramp. Locking down that lower bomb site. He could find yet more kills there.
He could, but Willie, that's the question. Michael, bomb in hand, is going to try and cross into the lower site and get that bomb planted. Magisk and MSL still waiting to rotate down. Smoke to cover off the escape plan for Michael. That'll put him back in a position. He's going to use the gap in it first to watch ramp. Back in a position toward decontamination. Where's the pushback out? We thought I saw it coming in from the right. Forrest is going to rotate around. No one's going to peek out. Forrest gets away in time, and his transition back to the vent is going to catch out MSL. Michael managing to also hold off for a trade at decon, but Forrest hits Magisk immediately with a headshot despite the low HP. Michael goes low as well, but it's going to be Config that falls. So NiP hold on in the end.
sloppy towards the end there, but still, the kill counts, you know, and good job from NiP after losing those first 2 frags as well. I think the first 3, in fact, when GetRight went down, I thought that round was completely over. But Michael Ellie and Forrest working together, not giving up, getting towards that lower bomb side as well. Decent smoke for Michael Ellie. I think that was actually the pivotal moment there. He drops that smoke, the bomb's going down as well. Mage's Boy can't see him from the little balcony area, and actually he managed to get Forrest in a decent position in that vent position, and then all of a sudden the round unfolds with Dignitas. So a very decent effort there, but 2-0, a very important round here on the T side for NiP. A full eco now for Team Dignitas, and this is a great start now for NiP after finding some difficult shots in that second round. Smokes towards outside, not going to be fully committing just yet. Going to see whether they're on a CT stack towards this area, just looking towards the back steps for now. NiP have got very nice smokes there. When I say that, there's actually a lot of teams that still have gaps in those smokes, believe it or not, even at the top end of the scene.
A ton. It's actually shocking how sloppy they are. Na'Vi is one such team.
Yeah, NiP, we've cast them a few times on this map. They always have very clean smokes, and they can get down there quite efficiently.
And they have a slightly different version of those smokes as we see Forrest find config. Rubino was waiting at main, though, so good trade back, and he manages to fade away inside of a smoke so Forrest can't drop in and find the refrag. But their different iteration is sometimes they'll throw them out toward where Forrest is playing right now. They throw them a little bit further away, cover off the big garage, and that allows them the ability to walk closer into the smokes as opposed to hugging the fence. Good pickup as he waits for Magist to try and flank back around. And what that does is take away the vision from heaven as well. It causes no gap because there's less distance between A main entrance and the big garage. And they can hug them and push through them, and anyone who tries to Molotov out behind red to slow down the push, they've got a second alternative. It's kind of neat from NiP. It's a bit more utility spent. You take 3 smokes instead of 2, but we've seen them use that approach multiple times.
Rubino and Cajun now. Round is pretty much over. Michael Eddy and Freiberg are low HP, so maybe a couple more kills can come in for the CTs here. Cajun being the dark spot downstairs. Good fun 1 kill. Freiberg runs out with the bomb. Maybe a bit sloppy, but still Rubino does make things interesting. 2 versus 1, but his position given away. Only has that silence USP in the vents. Needs to find something else. The timing could work out for him. Another low HP player, but Michael Eddy goes down to 1, so that could have got quite dangerous for NiP. The money's going to stay quite modest for them as well. 2 very close rounds here. Pause comes in, I believe. So, who called for that? It's
on my screen, we've got an in-ear problem. Rubinos have broken. I wonder if I should go offer him mine.
Yours don't have a microphone.
He doesn't need microphones on the in-ears. They have those on the Plantronics.
That's true.
It's okay, though. He says it's okay. It's fine.
But it's all fine.
He's from Norway. That's apparently the problem.
Our TS is died now. So.
Oh, TS died on both sides.
So from minor technical issues to major, I think.
Well, more significant. I don't know if I'll call TS dying a major
When
one.
the headsets come off, we'll see.
Yeah, it could just be the fact that the server crashed. You reset it. It's a LAN server. It's fairly easy to set up a different one if you had to as well.
Yeah.
It would just take a little bit of time to implement the IP to all 10 players, get them in and comfortable.
Yeah, that's how we enforce the coach not being able to talk as well through the TeamSpeak servers. Graham has a little system.
Okay. So actually, that's why they said TS died.
What do you mean?
Because they're not allowed to talk anymore during technical timeouts.
Yeah.
They were muted, and they all thought it died because they couldn't hear each other.
Right, okay.
So Graham actually muted all 10.
So yeah,
and they all panicked and typed in. They were ready to go on live again, and then they all said, wait, TeamSpeak died. But it was actually the admins muting them. That's kind of funny.
That's right. So we have a system. Obviously, the coaches can't talk anymore unless it's one of those 30-second pauses. You get 2 per half. So Graham mutes TeamSpeak. He's got a little button he presses, which unmutes the coach at the right time. So he has to be quite diligent there. He has to be aware, focused when the pauses come in, ready to unmute the coach. And you know, that's the problem with that system, I guess, overall. There's no way the Valve have actually offered a system for this to actually be implemented properly. This has to just be done completely manually by the admins at the tournament. There's no real way to do that easily.
Well, we get back underway. NiP, perfect start on the T side. 3-0. They'll go against a glass cannon on the hands of Config.
Yeah. Config, yeah, he normally does all this, man. That's right.
And his position thus far is to get very aggressive. Already on cat corner. He's got good position out toward, the corner. Behind Twinkie, misses that first shot, tries to go for the jumping player. It has to fall away. Nades going up to that corner. Land beyond, then actually take him down to 65. If he had stayed up, he might have been better off. The timing in through the smoke, can't find the gap. There is none. Again, NiP very efficient with these smokes. Are going to get down towards Secret, which means MSL. He's the closest in terms of proximity, but he's above, has to rotate down through the vents, and GetRight's watching that through the open doorway, which is a bit of a problem to try and transition. A smoke out for GetRight as well. He could try and drop in and catch them off. Rubino, meanwhile, he's down below, gets to the control room, already spotted up. Cajun B, he's got the crossfire set. This is the most powerful crossfire in the game if they nail it right, but they time it wrong and exist. He's able to push back Rubino. That's the headshot potential gone. Cajun can't re-peek back out. They'll pull up and sell down the vents, put a smoke on the control room doors. He's going to watch that instead. Cajun B's position pays off, though. Patience prevails. He only gets one. Michael with the headshot in return. And MSL waiting in the corner. It's going to be a reload costing Forrest his life. He's going to slip back into the vents after the flames go away. And Michael's a little bit suspicious of the fact that he could be rotating in that position. And he's going to try and flush him out. It's Magisk that has to now follow up and do damage.
Bomb yet to be planted, 30 seconds here. The commitment comes in, and MSL surely going to deny this. There was time available. Exist did not have to go for that one, but the kill is returned. Get Right finds it in the vents now. 20 seconds remaining. Magisk can see the bomb, though.
That's the bigger issue. It can see the bomb, knows Get Right, sees the gun barrel is inside of the fence. Flash out, perfect timing. Get Right's got the lineup, but he can't get the kill. 41 HP. Ooh. Thankfully, there's not much better fate for Magisk to try and find a shot in response, and as a result, Michael Lilly was there, double peek in the end, but that was a little bit awkward for a moment.
I feel like Dignitas could have done more with that round. You pointed it out. They get the crossfire down lower. That's pretty much the most optimal crossfire you can have in CSGO. It's so hard to shut down there. They read the situation perfectly. They rotate down towards lower. It's Rubino and Cajun. The idea of that crossfire is when one's facing, the other one isn't. You're taking the aggro away. As soon as the T looks at one, the other one faces. You have to have good synergy there. Cajun couldn't really find the aim to get the shots in the side there. Rubino was out of position when he had to reface at that point. He goes down. Cajun couldn't find a kill in return. There was a decent retake coming from the CTs there, but still, Magisk can't find the kills required to really give himself a chance to win the round. It's going to be number 5 here and a potential, well, a very likely 5-0 coming from NiP. What a fantastic start they've had here on Nuke. And just 5-7s. I'll make it just 2 of them as Config goes down. Headshot compliments of Freiberg there. Towards outside they go. Looking very good so far. Lots of time. Man advantage. Grouping up towards lower with the bomb as well. There is a CT waiting for them there. It's going to be 2 of them going down at the same time though. Magisk finds one in return. He was actually in the squeaky door. That's Get Right going down.
2 left. Cajun and Magisk. Magisk boy. I'll throw that in there, Alex, just for you. I know you like it when he uses his full name more. As Mike Lilly's going to put a Molotov into Toxic. Just clear off any last-minute positions that Dignitas might be trying to use cheekily to their advantage. I do like the word cheekily. It's one of my favorite in the English dictionary, if it's even in the dictionary.
Cheekily.
As Magisk is going to find Forrest. 2 versus 1 as he picked up an AK-47 as well, but he does not have a kit to work with. Bomb planted. Magisk is far away, so the boy is going to run back to spawn.
The magic boy. Well then, maximum loss bonus now. They were struggling in that first gun round. They had the glass cannon open, lacking defused kits and grenades. This time though, with Magisk, of course, saving the AK as well. And that will help distribute the funds going into a very key round here for Dignitas. Still a CD-sided map, regardless of the stats we saw at Epicenter. I still would say it's one of the most biased next to Train for the CT side. It's getting more evolved now. We did say when we first saw this map, as soon as the T's work it out, there's so many more opportunities than the previous iterations of this map. It's certainly going to get to the point where the execution has become so strong that the CTs are going to have a rough time, especially when the money's sparring under control as well. This is not a great start for Dignitas. And I guess at this point, NiP, they'd be happy with the half regardless. They can afford to be a bit more reckless at this point. Money's not great, but still, with this amount of rounds, the pressure's not as heavily applied as you might imagine. I did say they've got a great lower play, and we haven't seen it just yet, so maybe that'll be coming in soon. But fast towards ramp, it's Get Right going in quickly.
Very quick indeed. Magisk managed to pop back out, and he's going to try and look for additional kills, but Get Right's got the advantage. Down he goes. Rotation comes into Turnpike, and it's Cajun being config immediately after Forrest and Get Right again. 5-0's looking like 6-0, and an endless amount of rounds going NiP. Remember, they were the best team, I would say, hands down the best team. VP was close on the former versions of Nuke, so this is just a return to fashion for NiP, perhaps. In fact, their biggest slump started when it was removed from the map pool, whether or not that was a contributing factor.
I have to say that Magisk, when you're playing solo ramp, like that was a position I used to play. It hasn't really changed that position in terms of this version of the Nuke compared to Source, and the idea was if you get 1 kill as a solo player on Nuke, you're falling down to lower. You're not challenging any more than that. Like, you've been gifted a kill at that point. You have lots of options to fall back. He's at the headshot box there. Definitely could have just fallen back, got the information. He decided to potentially overcommit that one. He goes down there, and Get Right ends up finding 2 more after that. So Get Right gifted an opportunity to find that headshot and opens up the round. Just Rubino remaining now. He's found 1 kill, but has to save the weapon at this point. He's in T-spawn, round over. Very fast change of pace there from NiP. I like it. After a few defaults here and there, focusing towards outside primarily, they just go fast towards ramp. And that's actually a really nice move. If you think about it, when you've shown such a strong hand towards outside, time and time again, using the smokes, pretty default stuff so far. Then you chuck in a fast ramp push after that. Potentially the CDs only have 1 player there after thinking, wow, we need to adjust at this point. That's actually a really cool play from NiP. Hunting towards T-spawn. Rubino just about survives here. Money's getting stronger. Look at Magisk Money. He saved an AK in the previous round, so he could drop an AWP here at this point. But still, 6-0 on the T-side of Nuke. This is looking incredibly strong here in the group stages for NiP. Had a great run so far.
Very, very good. Very, very good indeed. And considering the CT side of Dignitas is no slouch, we normally see very dynamic play from both Config and Cajun B. Cajun B will play outside a big garage, play behind the blue crate to watch Twinkie. He'll play Heaven to watch behind the smokes and cover off Catwalk Wrap potentially. He's very good at reading that as well when he knows they lose the yard. And he's willing to go down the vents early or ramp to get to Secret. He's got multiple angles he can play. And he's very hard to read in that sense, but they've got no money, they've got no economy, and suddenly NiP is just picking them apart.
Well, they don't offer the AWP. Certainly was an option for them. So might as well be dropping weapons over to his teammates. I think it was Cajun who was struggling slightly. So he gets dropped over a weapon. Rubino gets the AK, which he saved in the previous round. So then, round number 7, desperately need to start putting something on the board here. If they were to win a round, it'd have to be a convincing one as well. They're in a real tough state of affairs here. If they won this round right, it came down to a 1v1. They'd be in the next round of like not PD50s, like MP7s, maybe a shotgun here and there wouldn't be fantastic. Then a double eco is a very real situation for them going forward. Like I said, we haven't seen that upper execute from NiP yet when they drop into vent. That's the one.
That's true, yeah, the classic.
So that I would say now you've done a fantastic job. Let's drop that in there. They've got a really cool way of doing it from the squeaky door. Let's see if they decide to do it.
Even more powerful than it used to be without the addition of the second vent. We talked about that last week at Epicenter.
That's right.
There's no way to drop down. Exactly. You can't drop down to counter it. The only thing it does take away from the tease is that you can't do the teleportation strat where you drop down and pop back up to get a better angle on someone at vents or at rafters, excuse me.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a very common play anyway. It's more powerful the fact that the CTs can't drop down. So,
well, successful towards Secret once again, not being challenged at all here. This does allow them still to work a pick. You see them boosting up here, maybe overstaying their welcome. Still alive for now. This does force rotations towards lower, so Major's boy, he's still towards ramp. Config, I'm not sure if he spotted anything towards that side yet. He's still looking towards that area. He's not sure. The CTs don't look like they've really rotated at this point. I'm assuming MSL will be the one to go down at one point. He's by the vent for now. Lower is clear though. This is a bit of an opportunity. We know NiP have that play when they have the smoke towards lower. They open the squeaky door, smoke in front of it, and they plant within that smoke. Once that goes down in a 5-on-5, very difficult. So keep your eyes on Get Right whether he'll be doing that smoke.
he just pushes all the way back. Forrest has dropped in. 2 down already in MSL. He's got a call for the rotation. Magisk is going to come down the ramp and try and count this up. That's his teammate he's shooting at. Molotov thrown out to counter his position as well, and it's going to be Michael Lele getting inside of the vents. Spraying off to MSL. Does find the angle in the end. So all of this time, Magisk has been sitting on the vents, going up, down, up, down, up, down, and now running to save, because every time he got closer to trying to cut to the vents, he got countered by utility, perfectly placed when NiP. And look at this, Get Right. He's already read the fact he's going to be escaping out through the lobby. Oh, gun showing though, but 2 players here. He's going to spray down. Oh, that's got to be a kill. Get Right will fall. It's going to be low HP. And as such, Michael Lele goes down, but AK grabbed. If he holds this,
oh my god,
we're seeing the individual skill. Unfortunately, we're not seeing the rounds add up as a result.
To be fair, that was really weird, right? Let's just dissect that round briefly. So it's the wall of smokes from NiP. Dignitas have no vision of outside. They've only got Config there by himself, who's not facing at all. He can't see anything. They decide not to rotate anyone lower whatsoever. They've got a 5 rifle setup as well. Major's boy finds a 4th there, just a note. And they're allowing NiP to basically get to the heavy choke points there, the window room, decon, vents, uncontested, not challenging it at all, and then you've got to do a 5-man retake. Yes, sure, that's possible, but still, NiP, like we said, they still had 1 smoke left over. They throw it towards decon this time. Michael Lele plants the bomb. He gets back in the vent as well. He still has time to plant the bomb, get in the vent before the CTs have any presence there whatsoever. That's a bit of a horror show of a round, I have to say, from Dignitas. If you've got to do one or the other, if you're not going to have presence towards outside, you have to have players ready to drop down, stop those rotations. Major's boy continuing this rampage. He got 4 kills in the previous and finds an advantage, finally, for Dignitas here in round number 8.
Wow. This is going to have to be carried further in Config, the second member of the duo. He'll take down Forrest, backs away as well to get toward the locker room, but Freiberg wrapping in's found Rubino. Thankfully, he's done enough damage that it's easy for MSL to finish off the kill, leaving just Exist. 1 versus 4, full reset coming in for Dignitas. So very important to keep as many players alive as possible, and Exist. He's not even going to find Cajun's position, who's yet to move with that AWP. He won't be in the open, not easily taken down. Oh, this is perfect. Well, oh, okay. I was going to say perfect as he walks in. There will be no accuracy on the ladder. Ooh. So he does get MSL, but he won't go any further.
That kill. If you got Config there, it was low HP as well. He had a chance to win that round. So the money's not actually great for NiP. There's been a lot of close rounds here. Lots of tight runs with the bomb down as well, and they're losing frags. Major's boy finding 4 kills before as well on the exits. That actually has hurt them significantly. They're not even... Oh, they are going to force into it. As I say, maybe just an eco here. So it'd be 3 AKs and 2 Tech 9s. I dare say this is when they'll try and do something a little bit snazzier. An execution here, potentially. We'll see what happens. I'll have a look at the setup and see if I can break it down for you. It's going to be... Actually, 3 players towards outside, more the same, but maybe at this point, send 1 player towards outside. Actually, 0. So going to do all the smokes towards outer, take that vision away from the CTs, and maybe just do the flashes towards upper. They're shooting out the skylights as well now. So trying to force rotations from upper, send some players down the vents. They've shown a lot of presence towards that area. Flashing towards upper. This is actually quite a nice idea from NiP.
Freiberg in already, fast toward the hut. MSL's the one to play, but look at the flash. He gets his vision back before he's spotted. Low damage, hard hit onto Michael, but can't close him off. And Config's equally taken down on 4 HP. And the nade, as Setch closes him off. It's all on Magisk to try and open this back up before Cajun B can rotate over, but he's done a decent job. Finally, Forrest will sneak in behind him as he looks toward the window, and it's on Cajun AWP. Flash goes slightly beyond. He's got his vision, but not the awareness of Forrest's position. And NiP, that's a reset coming in.
Huge reset there. That was actually a really cool round from NiP. I kind of broke it down. I don't need to analyze it again. But the smokes outside, they've been doing that time and time, and that's really cool from them. They're pulling the rotations this time. Dignitas got an AWP out there this time as well. They're trying to challenge those smokes. Upper execution comes in. They're up against it. Only have 3 AKs and 2 Tech 9s and managing to get in there first. MSL only finds 1 kill, and then decent utility use of the HEs flying in towards Nest, taking down the rotating players, and Cajun B, horrible position to try and retake that. That's a harsh reset. Potentially double eco. Can't really afford it. They're going to have to just buy nothing this round. They'll get 1900 next round. It'll probably be about 4k average across the board, and have to buy with that.
Exist tries to tap toward CT spawn. Config's position. He's tagged up down to 33 as he wants to back away. Michael's going to fall in the hands of Cajun. Tells Cajun nice shot immediately in chat, but that will do nothing to bring him back to life in this round. However, his teammates, speaking obviously of Dignitas, are in no better fate without weapons. It's going to go 9-1 NiP T-side nuke. This is shocking stuff. I think the only comeback that we have seen, to be fair, though, from a T-side on nuke has come from Dignitas.
Right. Or,
if I'm not mistaken,
at Assembly, we did see one. We saw
that's true.
Ends throwaway at 12-3.
That is, you're right. And I forgot all about that. It was horrific.
That was,
I think it was
heartbreaking things I've seen.
WSG when Dignitas did it. Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was a rough one to watch. I think Natsu was struggling to watch it as well.
I was. Like we said, they can't really afford to losing more rounds here. It's not an ideal situation. 1 player had excess cash. He can drop an AWP over. It's 4 M4s to go over it. Not a single kit. 3 smokes, no incendiaries. 3 flashbangs. It's pretty dire at this point. Someone needs to step up here. Maybe take the AWP towards ramp, stack towards outside of the rifles. Something has to change here at this point. NiP running away with this one. We haven't even seen any real kind of, apart from that outside play towards upper, finishing up an upper, we haven't seen any too much executions really coming in. And Michael, first 2 frags, Forrest finds one as well. This is going from bad to worse. Rubino with a chance to find 2, actually nails it as well. Good work from him. Can't find a 3rd.
Magisk is going to try and pop back in. Correctly timed from upper, but he can't spray down Exist. It's too far away. The bullet's too wildly spread apart. Cajun will at least pick up an M4 to work with, but he doesn't have armor. He has a nade, which is decent considering Forrest's unfortunate state of affairs. All this timing. Better shot from Forrest. I thought it was actually going to be Exist to walk out and catch him off looking the wrong direction.
Enrique, everything that has NiP is fast towards outside this time. Just happy to take the challenges. They drop a couple of smokes towards front of the red boxes there. Nice angle for Michael to find the first frag. I didn't catch where Forrest found his. Nuke is pretty cruel mistress to try and spectate on this one, try and find all the action. A lot of different choke points that the T's will happily face at the same time. But yes, another eco really coming in here. It will be 4-stage loss minutes. I've actually invested... Cajun B's gone all in on this one. He's got head armor for some reason. And they're already rushing ramp here. Running through fire as well. He's going to be pushing straight into lobby. Not going to find anyone though. That's a bit of a problem. Getrice is waiting for them. He's actually holding above the ladder in T-spawn. They're reading this so well. Magisk will just find 2 in return. He's having such a good game. He's on 15 frags and we got 1 round. This is nuts. But still a lot of work to do here. He hasn't managed to find a single weapon as of yet.
4 plays alive for Dignitas. 8 HP for Magisk Boy to work with. Headshot position over toward ramp, but right now it's NiP at outer. Inside the secret stairwell, but not advancing any further. And if they do, it's Cajun B that will try and play off this with the 5-7. He's already elected to throw his nade toward the corner. No one's there. Has a flash to further work with. He's the only one with head armor as well on his side of the affair. He'll circulate the vents as well, not peeking as they get around the corner. Checking the crossfire, NiP correctly doing so. Freiberg's going to start to push him out of this position as well. Molotov's going to force Cajun back in. Doesn't break out the vent. He doesn't want to give away his position just yet, but they should have heard the one-tick tag. And he's on 47 HP. Cajun B does slip inside the site. The shots from the AK may have Mask is dropping in. As such, he's done good damage. Bomb drop, 21 seconds. If he can make this awkward, if he can hold this off, he might win the round. In fact, he does. It's going to be Michael coming out, and a headshot goes immediately into him. Very well done from Cajun B.
Well, there it is then. Finally finding that second round here. Still, money's a bit of a problem for NiP. You can see these rounds have been very close. They've been doing a good job. Magisboy especially finding frags on 16 after only winning 2 rounds. He's been actually controlling the economy single-handedly with the exit frags. He's not winning the rounds for them, but he's making them sure the money's going to be low every single time for the terrorists. And they lose another round, and back to a 4-spy it is. It's going to be 3 AKs a Gallo, and get right, only on a Mac 10 here. 2 players going towards the ramp room. Actually going to be focusing conflict towards lower this time. As Rubino, he fends off an initial rush. Incendiary's a drop. They actually have more utility to work with here. Could maybe get a little bit more comfortable.
Rubino wants to firmly set his eyes upon that smoke, smartly so, knowing that NiP loves to push through it, but it's Get Right instead on a Mac 10 that's found the opener, and that's down below.
He's already lower. That was the problem. We saw Config go towards ramp into lower to stop this happening, but Get Right's there before him and takes him out the Mac 10, and he finds a second as well, picks up that AK.
Yeah, this is so good from Get Right.
And that's the key frag to find as well. Magisboy's the only one really fragging hard here. Cajun B managed to get a frag in return. 4 on 3. Still have a shot of winning this one. Don't get me wrong. Bomb not planted, but exist. He makes things a whole lot more difficult.
Rubino's going to try and slip through the window at Hut to silently get a better... Oh, this could be very good, actually. Especially if he hears the door open, he's going to know that, yeah, this is a kill. Easily done. 1, maybe 2. They line up. It is. Bomb dropped as well. Michael he's got to go back into the next round because this one's done for him. However, Forrest has to go back to get the bomb. He'll find Rubino in doing so, but it leaves Cajun B in a good position, good rotation, and good awareness as he hears the jumping. But does he? Because he's looking toward the ladder and not the new AC position. Ooh, yes. And how does Exist get away from this? Because right now...
He's made footsteps now. I think he had to drop down there from that catwalk position. You see Cajun B still... I think he's a possibility. I'm looking at it on my screen right now.
Now, the smart thing for Cajun B is his position on the rafters right now. He's covered by the yellow crossbeam before he walks in a main, so he's not spottable immediately. There'll be a tiny little bit poking.
Oh,
15 seconds, and Cajun spots the feet first. So good positioning from Cajun to play that situation.
That's all down to Rubino, isn't it not? Because like Cajun B does a great job towards the end there in the 2 versus 1, but the fact that the round was possible at that point was Rubino in the lobby position. Gets a little bit lucky with the lineup, I guess, but still good positioning from him. Drops the bomb at that point. Cajun B at least given a position that's possible for him to win the round. There's the lineup there. It's Makaleli. He gets taken down in the crossfire, and it's going to be a 4-spy in round number 14. I guess at this point they know the money's not in a great position for the CTs. Lots of close rounds in that respect as well. So 4 Tech 9s coming in, and a scout as well for Get Right. Not often we really see him on a sniper rifle, but smokes towards outside once again. Not the wall of smoke, but there it comes a little bit later than expected, but it's there nonetheless.
Config's looking for the shot toward the corner, but they've already surpassed him and gone down towards Secret once more. Fast play, and NiP, oddly enough, with very little economy to work with, considering the lead in the game. So a chance, a free kick for Dignitas. You got to make hay while the sun shines. Great day for hay. Because they've got to capitalize and try and make this as many rounds as possible. On the CT side, Freiberg, Molotov out, thankfully gets it in time because MSL had a chance to capitalize, didn't push all the way through on the shotgun. Does have a decent position above, but it's Smoke out Rubino that's got to do the first exchange. Firstly found, then snaps back, does get Michael Lilly as well. Bomb dropped again, temporarily forced, though. Slipping through will find at least one, but Config sends him over the rail, down into the radiation below, and it's Get Right. Suddenly left with 4 HP in a 1 versus 3. And this is where finally Dignitas can get some momentum.
Well then, it was a little bit ambitious there from NiP. The problem is they used all their utility towards outside at that point. You do need a little bit more, and you probably need to smoke on the bomb side to even have a chance of getting that bomb down there. Dignitas read it quite well. They had position of lobby as well. They could call it as a complete lower take from those Tech 9s and the scout. Didn't find any initial kills there. Dignitas waiting on the bomb side for the final commitment. Rubino doing some good work with the M4A4 there, and the last round is no different. So NiP, after having the 10-1 lead, won't finish in the most satisfying sense for them. Obviously still a great half overall, but to finish on 10-5 with the momentum they had, I think they thought towards the end those 4 spies would have been a bit more lucrative for them, but still it will be Magisboy continuing his rampage here. 17 kill obtained. He finds the first one, taking down Get Right.
So Tech 9s to finish out the half for NiP. It's been a great half for them, it has to be said. Didn't really see much utility in terms of skylight execution. It's just very straightforward plays out. Or the smokes, our placements are brilliant from NiP, including that of when they drop down the vents, including that when they cover out the window here because they go in and they've got the angles covered off before they can find the shots on the CT side. It's down to Config. The Tech-9s have worked. They've picked up weapons, Mac 10 included on Michael Elliott and the nade. It's 7 HP for Config to try and pull this back. AWP, blinded, hopeless.
Wow.
But goes for it. 11 rounds in the end for NiP. That's quite lovely.
I got a bit ahead of myself, you know. It was a nice play from NiP to finish things off there. And it's going to be 3 of them surviving as well. So a pretty convincing way to close it out. 11-4 in the T-half, Matt. All signs would point to this being an NiP victory at this point. And it's the group stage. It's not a huge deal overall, but still, they've looked great so far in this tournament and continuing their good form here. You can see how comfortable they look right now. If they win the pistol, it's GG. I hate to be the
get that water, India.
The pessimist in that sense.
You ever been to India?
India? No, I have not.
Get her, India. With that said, we're going to take a break because although the dynamic play of Dignitas didn't work on the CT side, they've got to step it up tremendously on their T. Well, it was a very convincing half from NiP. Lots of great smoke grenade usage. A lot of missed duels and awkward moments of peekage. Peekage, there's a new one for you. From Dignitas, overcommitments from Major Boy. We saw it ramp. And as I said, NiP hadn't used the skylights in too many ways. They throw Molotov in on the last round with Tech-9. Smokes out to give them a wider entrance from Hut, and they win a pistol round against weapons to make it 11-4.
They didn't really have to work too hard in terms of the tactical game there. They did a very solid approach at the start, controlling the money after a few solid executions towards outside. They went for a few rushes at ramp, and then just keep controlling the money at that point. And Dignitas, with some problematic setup, I have to say, especially towards lower and outside. They couldn't really decide which area those areas they were focusing on. They weren't actually having any presence towards lower or challenging outside at one point, and allowing NiP to get fully down to the bomb side before even challenging at that point. So, yeah, a pretty lackluster performance, I have to say, from Dig. To remind us, it's not GSL format round robins. It's not a huge deal, but still, it's good to see NiP performing so well here as we go into the second pistol round. It's going to be Dignitas with 4 sets of armor. Very similar approach to what NiP did, you have to know. It's going to be going towards upper, maybe the bomb down towards lower though, instead of actually committing it on the upper sides.
Well, already they're inside of that smoke. Get Right's going to hear the vent bust out. Smartly reads that Config's gone by as he hears a couple footprints, footsteps, you know, whatever. We talked about this before, guys. It's all a matter of opinion on what makes the noise. Config's going to find Exist. Get Right can't do much about rotations, but does find Config in the end, waiting for him to push back out smartly behind Blue. But Get Right's too smart for that trick. He just is the next one that's going to be a flank potential for the T's in this post plant, though, because inside ramp, the safety is at least in the hands, the consideration of Freiburg, but Major's just arriving now is going to try and catch them off. Again, it's Get Right that goes to battle. Rubino finds 2, and Cajun finds Forrest. Freiburg never stood a chance. It's going to be 11-5 as Dignitas pick up pistol in the second half. Very important.
Well, at least we have a chance for a good game at this point now. They needed that pistol. Like I said, if they were to lose, it's pretty much GG. But now, this could actually be an interesting game. There's no reason why NiP can't make a lot of mistakes here and Dignitas can capitalize. You saw him in fantastic form earlier. Obviously, Magic's boy as well. He's still showing his fragging on that first half. It's going to be a force play. I don't think that's required from NiP. I think if you listen to my casts, I think I've made this very clear time and time again. With this kind of lead on a CT-sided map, I don't think you need to be doing this, but we'll see whether they can make it work for themselves. Config managed to do some great work with the scout in the first half. Maybe Get Right can do the same. Seems to be the designated scouter for NiP, it seems. Never really seen him do anything too tremendous with it, if I'm honest, but maybe this is the one.
It might be the one. We're all looking for the one. Forrest hugging the wall. Oh, brilliant shot to start it off. Follows it up. MSL down. All right, but hold on, because it's still traded back, and the guns are still pursuing this B site with a heavy aggression. But although the guns aren't picked up off the dead bodies, it's a man advantage for NiP to try and capitalize upon. Michaelele getting close to the toxic room, but not inside of it. Is going to try and catch them off in a fortunate angle, but he's given himself away, and Rubino behind. Able to get the headshot with the AK-47 smoke out from his teammates. He'll be able to plant. And now they can go to work. 2 HP for Cajun B. Oh, all right. Both want to go inside of the lovely toxic room.
Double trouble. I guess it works. If one of them hides, they'll assume toxic is clear after finding the first kill. There's some method behind the madness here. And it's going to be Cajun B nailing the shot. So after finding those first 2 frags, it looks like it will be Dignitas taking the round in the end. So decent work for them overall. Good recovery. Forrest with the 2 heads.
Watch this. They're going to go. They know he's there, and it's going to be a 1, 2, 3. Open. Oh, I thought they were going to try and do. All right, there it is. They all peeked from the same corner at once against poor old Freiburg, who had 3 players staring him down. I expected some sort of crazy play from the doorway, but 11-6 now.
Yeah. Well, now it will be the full eco and a limited NiP into that first gun round. It was a similar storyline for Dignitas, and that's what got them into that mess and that big rut at the start. 10-1 down. Did manage to finish off by 11-4. After winning this pistol, they've actually got a bit of a chance here. Rushing upper, doesn't really matter what they do in this round. It's been very difficult for CT to do anything about this with the default pistols across the board. Get Right, somehow the USP though finds the headshot, but that's looking like all they're fine. Forrest chimes in with a second, but now just Michaelele. And he's got the P2000 and Ness has got a low HP player in front of him. Okay.
Finds the one that is the low HP. That's fortunate to start this off, but unfortunately the other 2 know exactly where he is as a result. And if they hadn't got up with the gun, the nade would have no armor. He was on 30 HP. So 11-7, we're starting to count them back. It's within 4, but now the guns will be drawn for NiP. They will not have an EWP.
No, that's the problem with the force buy, and that's why I normally say when you have this kind of lead, if you just wanted to win the game overall, in terms of having a percentage chance of closing it out early, you want to have the AWP, you want to have the nade, you want to defuse kits, and you would have that if you didn't force in the second round. But you know, each to their own. Obviously, everyone's got a different idea of how the game should be played. It's going to be round number 19, 5 M4s, 4 NiP, 1 kit. Just a distinct lack of utility. Just 3 smokes remain. That's pretty much it. 1 flashbang as we get into this one. Dignitas with the AWP in hand suggests he'll be focusing towards outside. Cajun B will be doing that, of course, not even using the smokes. He wants to take the duels, but the timing doesn't work out for him. He goes down. MSL with the frag in return. Does bring it into a 4-on-4.
Forrest watching the upper catwalk position. Make sure no one's going to wrap around and catch him off. Doesn't peek the corner at main as a result. So better thought, rotate up to heaven, try and cover off the front door with his team in tandem. All 3 of them now watching that position. He also goes back. So he's trying to find his information in as many positions as possible right now, Forrest. The problem is, even though he just peeked outer, there is a player that's leaking underneath, and that's MSL. And Forrest, the angle and the timing, this may catch him off. Because MSL is now going to get all the way toward ramp room. And they'll be able to split onto lower. So good read. MSL, timing in his fortune. No one's rotated yet through the vents as far as I can tell. It is a tough mini-map to read sometimes. Okay, I take that back. Michaelele is down there. And it appears that Freiburg is gone as well. So this may still be all right if they elect to go to secret, but so far no one really pushing in that position, at least not to start the play. Config's above. He can try and drop down, catch off rotations. But Dignitas are going to go, and they will find Michael. It still leaves Freiburg. Decontamination, Molotov off in the doorway as a result, and this new broadened sight inside the new for a new nuke is very possible to plant the bomb as soon as you get inside of it. So you didn't even need to go that far to confront the player at decontamination. MSL, Toxic in the post plant, and it's Freiburg and Forest. Config's position is timely, is it not? He'll spot up one, does get the headshot immediately into Forest, and Freiburg, good damage done, down to 17 inside of that room is MSL, and Config's only on 31, so Freiburg's got a chance at this. He's going to tap 10 seconds is the problem, and he's trying to bait out Config, he will!
Wow, that's a huge round for NiP to win. That could have been the full eco coming in next round. Dignitas has to pick this one up. Freiburg in the 2 versus 1. The problem is, they do that bomb plant. It's actually looking quite promising at that point. And Config coming in for the flank. He's coming from ramp right. Like you said, great position, but not for that plant. Pretty much the worst plant he could have anticipated at that point. He has no vision on the bomb. Freiburg can pretty much toy with him at that point. They don't know if he's got a kill or not. He can't take the risk at that point. Goes to face it. He thinks he's got a decent position. Freiburg takes him down, and that's pretty much the only scenario Freiburg wins. He can't go for the full defuse there and allow Config to face him at all. So there it is. A big round for them to pick up. Bad news is for NiP though. Full reset still a very big possibility after going down to a 1v1 there. You're going to have Max 7's UMPs. Do have a little bit more utility to work with here, but still money available for Dignitas. It's going to be Cajun B back on the AWP. Had a bit of a nightmare in the round before. Not using the smokes at all. He's willing to take the battles here. Still viable considering there's no AWPs available with the CTs. MSL hugging the garage once again to try and protect him.
Oh, that's a hard peak to find behind that AC vent. So Cajun actually nearly hits a very, very hard shot. Okay. Well, MSL's going to fall to Freiburg immediately after, but that could have been quite lovely.
See what happens here. 4 and 4 for now. Still time to work with it. NiP allowing control towards outside completely. The bomb in the hands of Config will actually be towards outside as well. So what's the play here from Dignitas? Still have 2 smokes and flashbangs. Cajun still desperately trying to work a pick here with his AWP. Hasn't found anything just yet. This boy showing some attention towards the ramp. While his teammates, they could potentially split towards up here at this point. With Rubino in the lobby as well. Smoking into the hut allows him to get out at least with some flashbangs. And
so they've cleared off one side of the upper site, but Exist is backed away. The problem is playing hugging the wall. He can dodge the flashes, but he times it wrong, goes towards Squeaky, and that's going to open him up to Rubino. Boy is able to walk in and take down Forest, and Cajun going for the plant. They haven't spotted it. Michael Lilly came back in through the hut, and Rubino nearly got caught unaware. It's going to give Freiburg a chance coming in from Squeaky. Door left open, and it was a door of opportunity, but it's Majestic to close it firmly in the faces of NiP, who only won one with one player left alive. Reminds me of a skit from a comedian asking Juan Pablo Montoya if Juan Pablo won one race, would one win the one Formula One championship? The way I said that, but it means a reset coming in from NiP.
well, yeah, harsh reset as well. And there it is, Dignitas. A little bit confusing towards the end there. Michael Lilly running out the hut. I couldn't really work out what was going on. I was watching on my screen. I was like, why is no one looking at him? Why is he not killing anyone? But crisis averted there for Dignitas, and it's going to be potentially a double eco here for NiP. I'd say almost guaranteed at this point, considering they're forced into it. MSL find some kills with the Mach 10. They rush ramp, sticking together, not losing a single bit of HP at this point. Boy does at this point, but there we go. Planting towards lower. There is a player in the vents. That's going to be, I think it's Freiburg. He's dealt with accordingly. Rubino takes him down, and the plant comes in once more. Occasionally, top left corner again. Like, obviously, if you can get that plant down, we'll see it in a second. It's great in any scenario the Config wasn't in before. Like, it's such an open plant. There's no cover for the CTs, and they have to be looking at the bomb. And I'm pretty sure the way it's planted, I'm really kind of describing it. You can't see it. It doesn't really work. But the way it's planted is you can't really have your back to it and look around. You have to be looking into the wrong wall. Matt, you can see what I mean. You can enjoy it.
I totally know what you mean.
Right. But
it's yeah, no, I do very much like when you give me these detailed explanations
no one else can see them. Yeah, that is a problem. But you'll see. Hopefully we'll see that plan again, and I'll point it out once more.
Yeah, it's against the new basic drop down into the radiation.
It's in front of Toxic, basically. Like, as far as...
Actually, it would be in front of exactly where the old Toxic doors were.
Yeah.
Either way, it's Get Right, the only survivor, I should say. And as said, she has a Mach 10. I don't know how much you want to read into that, but considering they don't have any money, it's better than nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, we said it would be a double eco. They invested some money into that round. Didn't go all in, but it was going to be a double eco regardless. So just thought, you know what, we'll give it a go for some deagles. And to get a couple of kills, that's about it. Oh, 1 kill, I beg your pardon. So yeah, Get Right, he gets a Mach 10. Maybe rush ramp, rush the hut, something like that. See what you can do. He's got a flashbang as well. I'd say maybe flash the lobby, run in, hope for the best. Cajun B gets that first kill, taking down Freiburg. All of a sudden, Matt, this isn't looking like the clean-cut game we once thought we were going to get at the start. It was 11-4, now potentially 12-10. Well, I say potentially, very likely to be 12-10. Double figures obtained for Dignitas. Not out of this just yet. A very tenacious team here, not giving up. And another clean round for them as well. All 5 players staying live. Rubino, why do you have to ruin it?
Well, he ruined it just for you. Magisk Boyle close it out. Get Right goes down. Still, they have the lead by 2.
Oh, it's 6-1 currently here on the T half. We did say there's no reason why you can't give them the exact same treatment back. Like, obviously it's unlikely, and it is still a CT-sided map, but you said it before, like, you look at the stats at Epicenter, it's slowly evolving into a more balanced procedure, especially if you win the pistol as well and you control the money. No reason why the T's can't run away with it, but here we go then. Forrest has the AWP this time, not Michael Ailey, and he'll be looking towards outside. Quite a defensive hold as well. There's the squeaky door opened. Rubino burning alive, trying to find his first pick towards main, but takes quite a lot of damage for it. Flashed out of position for now. I'd assume a smoke will come in momentarily as well, but still has vision for now.
Rubino, AWP. See if he can make it work on the T side. Not going toward outer at least yet. Config's there. Rubino's going to take the bomb toward the lobby instead. MSL and Cajun will start to work outside. Setting for smokes is Cajun. I'm not sure MSL is doing the same. This is another thing we didn't see on the CT side, peculiarly enough, from Dignitas as a push through from radio, as Magisk often does. He had a lot of pressure on him, to be fair, but he's normally very good at reading the wrap toward the upper side execution. Either way, they're doing the task of pulling this back. 11-4, and NiP only be able to pick up 1 round so far on their CT side. Cajun starting to get position with that AWP now as he's grabbed it back from Rubino. Rightly so. Michael Lilly found and gone down. And no one in a position to rotate quickly toward Turnpike. Molotov there as well means Forrest can't get there in time. And he's got to concede the fact that the ramp's given up rotation. He's even going to give up on the rotation to go back in for the flank. He's going to get down toward lower. And aim punch, a massive factor. Freiburg does damage but gets taken down immediately after. Get Right's going to fall as well toward the dark spot. And this is all falling apart. Exist canceled out immediately as Config turns around. Then it's Forrest in a 1 versus 5.
Yeah. Difficult times here for NiP. Can't find the frags here in the second half at all. Dignitas running away with this one. Another round going in their favour. It will be 4th stage loss bonus. Just working together as a tight unit, hitting the shots required. They never give up, this team. And it's going to be 12-11 now. Forrest saves the LWP, but how much money has the teammates got to go with it? I'll have a look now. You've got it on your scoreboard. So $2,400 coming to the next round. Sorry, $2,900 and the saved orb. If he can save the orb, it's possible to buy around it, but I don't think they're going to allow it to happen. They're actually going towards T-spawn. MSL with low HP doesn't matter against the Orb. Regardless, he gets his head blown off. They know where he is now, but they're pretty far removed as he will be dropping his smoke there as well. It's going to be Cajun B trying to hunt him down. Maybe they have some grenades and they chuck it at him, but it looks like Forrest will be surviving for now. But there it is. Another round for Dignitas. They're creeping back into this map. 7-1. They've got tons of cash, and like we said, $2,100. I think a pause comes in. This will be tactical. 30 seconds allowed. No coach here. We haven't seen Thread in a while, actually, have we?
We haven't. It's ever since the coaching change came in.
He's just like, you know what, I'm out.
And NiP won Star Ladder, the first event that he wasn't there. They haven't had him back. Now, I know Threat's a big student and he's studying a lot, but it's interesting because he was making time before.
Well, yeah, right, but I think he's still heavily involved in terms of the analysis. I know he still has contact with Exist before each game. I think it's more of like a text-based, maybe a little chat on the phone. Just work out, like, look, this is what they've been doing so far. These are their tells. These are the tactics you should use. This is what you need to look out for. I just don't think he sees his worth in being here anymore. It's just not worth. He doesn't see the benefit, I guess. He thinks he can do the job just as well remotely, which is fair enough. It gives Exist more freedom now. He needed to take more responsibility now with his new rules coming in. Couldn't rely on Threat to...
Yeah, Daddy Threat.
Do the work for him, you know.
Yep.
But here we go then. 24, Matt. This could easily be a Dignitas game now. 11-4 on the T side for NiP, and they've only found 1 round so far. There he is, Magisk. 1 orb obtained. Nuke's not one of those maps where you can find 1 orb kill, rotate really quickly and be somewhere else. Like, sure, if you're coming towards outside of the garage, you get that kill, the T is going to swing towards the other side of the map and just like isolate you, right? You're out of it. You could go towards Nest and just hold that position. You've got vision of outside and the upper bomb side as well. Then you have access to ramp. Just not a high fragging map for the AWP in that sense. It's good for individual picks. And a straight up upper rush, that's not going to work out for him. Freiburg does find a kill here, but it starts to unfold. And like I said, the orbit towards ramp this time, not going to have much chance actually rotating into the situation. He thought about it and thought, you know what, I probably should save his weapon, shouldn't I? I'm not going to be able to do anything here. Back towards city spawn he goes.
Well, Forrest waiting for anything to come his direction. Maybe luck, because NiP falling apart on a CT side. We did, I said Dignitas, they were one of the 2 teams that we saw. You rightly pointed out Ent's failure, but to make a comeback on Nuke's T side, we've seen a T-sided Nuke today, thus far.
Yeah.
Well, no matter what, even if NiP were to close it out, we've seen more rounds on the T side achieved.
It's true. Dignitas now. They've tied things up 12-12. This is getting very scary. Now the cities have got maximum loss bonus, but Forrest goes down with the explosion. That's a bit of a problem. They do have money into this one, though. He can buy the AWP. Actually, Michael Lady purchases that. So then, the chips are down now. Lost the lead. Still on the CT side, though, but yet to really post anything of worth. They won the first gun round. That was it. Comes into round number 25. Double AWP setup on Nuke. I'd say definitely not really viable at all in terms of the way the map should be played, in terms of like rotating into bomb sites and actually being able to go to lower, for example. It's very difficult. It's just more out of desperation at this point. Need to change something up. Forrest will be towards the catwalk area outside, looking for the first pick. And I assume Michael will be holding ramp.
Double op setup is definitely, as you say, when you bring it out CT side, oftentimes desperation.
Yeah, like especially on this map. It's just as soon as the bomb goes down and your smokes are in, you've just got such limited options there. You need to be getting these first picks, you need to be a bit more aggressive. And Forrest is doing that right now. But let's see what Dignitas brings to the table. Slowing things right down. Still have a few smokes remaining. Going to be using those towards outside, but this is a similar tactic we saw from NiP. Not committing, falling back towards outside, but one player will be trying to sell something towards outer.
Gap in the smoke massively. Oh, I say massively, it's not, but there's good positional control from Get Right to watch it. They're not going to go. He's going to make that call, so no need to over-rotate off of this. And Forrest thought about it. He goes back up the ladder to watch upper instead, and that's the right position as of yet, because all of them, four of them, the four remaining players of Dignitas are grouped up inside a lobby. Further utility going to slow them down, including a smoke that goes inside hut, but it bounces far enough that they're able to stay inside of it and not give up their position, so it really is redundant in that sense, because now they'll bust out hut. It's going to be existent Forrest with a good crossfire set, though, and Freiberg pushing aggressively towards the hut. It's going to find one, not the last. Doesn't quite get the kill, but gets the information. Good play from Magician. What is this? He's got three. Thankfully, Forrest has had enough, because that would have been absolutely stupid if he pulled that off.
Well, you know what? They win the round, but that was sloppy. They didn't have to challenge that frag. They're trying to finish it as quickly as possible. Every kill is important for the CTs at this point. Now, money is actually getting a little bit desperate. They're going to have to repurchase into this round. Yes, it's fine for now. I think they can get a full buy-in, but still, if it was a loser round, they've got nothing left. This boy doesn't win the round, but he's doing the same antics on the T side as well, just controlling that economy. Not winning the rounds, but like he's thinking, in the long term, the long scheme of things, is going to actually be beneficial going forward. You can see it exists. That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to describe. He's got an MP7 in this round, Matt. So that's evident of how it's going to be affecting them going forward. So 13-12, NiP managed to pull one back. Thing is, though, it will almost certainly be a double eco if they were to lose this round, and that could be GG. So, Major's boy's feeling it. He knows he dented them, especially their morale, not only their money, after that encounter towards the end of round number 25.
30-second timeout, which means we're back underway already. We'll see if NiP had anything up their sleeve.
28 kills for Majors so far.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
I
want food poisoning.
You don't, trust me. Those burgers were horrendous.
I watched my brother go through salmonella when I was 13 years old.
Frozen in the middle, cold melted cheese. Somehow they got cold melted cheese in them.
Unbelievable.
I'm going to describe that story in the podcast one day. It's so funny.
All right, we'll do it. Drop the Bomb Season 2 coming in the new year. But I did see my brother go through salmonella when I was 13, and I could feel the horror for him. I think he had to go to the hospital like twice to get pumped. Stomach injections and all that crap. Forrest with a nifty little Molotov as he fades down the fire pole and into the lower sight. Tell you something about poles in a bit too, Henry. Maybe that'll come out in a podcast. As the smoke's going to be set from Dignitas. Now these guys, we talked about NiP's efficiency on smokes. They're victims of leaving the gap, and there it is. Yep, Get Right's going to be able to watch that, relay the information to Forrest, who could peek on it as a result. So Dignitas, you'd think, considering how much they play this map, that they would finally address that gap in the smokes, and yet they never have.
Well, let's find out if it'll work against them. It's quite significant as well. They haven't actually used that smoke to cross. This is actually looking pretty poor from Dig. Now they have to fall back. What have they got left? They have got 2 smokes remaining. So you can re-smoke, but that'd be nothing left to actually get to a bomb site at that point. Looking for frags now. There is Forest towards Secret.
Issue is that Get Right, having not seen them, is going to assume this is a fake. Throws a little bit of utility to hold them further in place, but he's backed away. And now they can still go towards Secret because Forest is vacated as well. Everyone's expecting that the smokes are going to be a fake, similar to last round. And NiP is actually misreading this slightly. Freiberg's going to watch a wrap toward main. But they could actually go all the way around, and they are. They're going to go all the way around to heaven. This will be a full execution in the upper site once they get control. So MSL is going to be the one to lead it.
Big round him. Full reset for NiP. Dignitas have got control of main. First frag's huge. Made this boy, of course, he nails it. Takes down Exist. And MSL coming from heaven as well. The upper side is open. Fryingboy trying to do what he can, but only finds one. Pretty much round over. This is where you get punished for the double ops. How can you retake a bomb site with those sniper rifles in hand? It's going to be Michael Edley going down first. Forrest gives away his position. Yes, he finds a kill. I'm sorry, he has to save now. Down he goes. They know how big that is. You can hear him in our headsets.
Yep.
They're right next to us. That's a massive round. There's no money left for NiP. Like I said, as soon as those orbs come in that situation, you have to retake a site. You're cooked. That's it. You're out. And can't find in those initial frags. Actually, pretty difficult for Dignitas to get that close into it.
And this is clever. Dignitas used those smokes on a fake last round, and this time they just let them sit there and take advantage of it because Get Right calls for a rotation early. It pulled Forrest away from an almost perfect position on Secret Stairwell. And now the control is in Dignitas' hands. Only 2 rounds achieved so far from NiP on the CT side. So our last match of the night turning out to be fairly entertaining. Config this time, slipping up all the way at the red crate without any utility.
Just to talk about the money, this round is pretty much it's a default USP pistols apart from one across the board. So we can talk about the future a little bit more. So next round, NiP will get $1,900. Right now Exist on $1,400. Same story for Forrest as well. They're not going to have enough to buy. And after this will be $1,413, almost match point for Dignitas. What's the play at that point? Do you just force in, get the shotguns out, hope for the best? Do you allow Dignitas? I think that's the option. You allow them to get to match point. I think you have to. Otherwise, you're pretty much throwing the game away. You're not going to be able to hold off a terrorist attack here. So a couple of kills coming from NiP. The money's so stacked over at Dignitas, I'm not going to get too excited about it. It doesn't really matter at this point when this late, and you can feel that's Config getting fired up.
Yep. This is an incredible comeback from Dignitas. 11-4 down. They didn't even look in it on the CT side, a side that's normally been good to them. And, well, NiP, the last buy, they're going to force in. They're going to use FAMASs. Maybe this is to try and catch off the T's. But either way, they've got a full buy regardless. It's not like their utility isn't there.
Yeah, so we've got FAMASs and 1M4. It's certainly workable. Not optimal. Let's see what they can do here. Michael Eddy with a teammate towards ramp this time. It's Forrest. Actually going to have to presumably allow outside to be open. Yeah, just Get Right there by himself. That's a bit of a problem. There's no focus or rotation towards lower as of yet. No utility really. There's a couple of smokes remaining, and they do get an equal exchange towards outside. That's not good enough at the moment. 4-4. MSL, he drops to the cause, and kill found a return for Config here. What's the response here from NiP? Michael Eddy still towards ramp by himself, and Madesport is baiting out the utility, waiting for the next move.
Config and Cajun going to work down the stairwell towards Secret. Magisk and Rubino starting to push out and probe at ramp, so trying to split lower this time. And one man stands in their way at ramp. That's Michael Edley. No one rotating yet toward the lower stairwell, and it's Freiberg that's gone down to the vents immediately. Forrest is going to try and capitalize, but he'll be late on the charge. As a result of that one kill, Michaels had to vacate the ramp, and it's smartly so because he actually catches off Cajun B. This is going to leave a bit of a manhunt going on from Config, who gets caught off by Exist, who gets down the vent, trying to turn back to find off exactly where Michael gone. So somehow NiP with timing make this work. And Rubino knows he's in the dark spot. He's going to try and get a position. It's going to be a double peek out. That'll pull it back to a 2 versus 2. Smoke off on the stairs. One spotted inside of the vent, and they're both there for NiP. They both want to go at this choke point. Exist goes down immediately. Bomb planted top silo. Trade back from Forrest, but it's a close position from Rubino. Flash out, not going to blind, and he doesn't see him. Rubino's going to put them on that point, and the forced buy haunts NiP in the end.
Dignitas certainly made that round half of them as well. They had the man advantage. Cajun B walking out to lower side with a Molotov in his hand. And what was he thinking at that point? Like giving the AWP away? Still, they managed to recover just about 15-13. Dignitas taking advantage of the financial situation at that point. Once it worked out his FAMASs and a lack of grenades, just working pick by pick at that point, just got interested. I have no idea what Cajun's running out, trying to get a Molotov on the lower side. Yes, he's trying to flush his CTL, obviously, but is there really any need when he's by himself and no one's got the refrag? Anyway, potentially last round here. 11-4 first half for NiP, on the T side no less. And they're about to potentially drop out here, 16-13. After only finding 2 rounds on their CT half. Incredible scenes here. I guess we have some arguments to discuss, considering everyone's saying at the moment this is a very CT-sided map, but each tournament is getting less and less so.
It is certainly so. And we expected it at some point that it would develop in that fashion.
I think these results are like, these score lines are not normal, right? It's difficult to take that much away from them, like 11,
absolutely.
Right? But still, like, from what we saw at Epicenter, much more equal, and now we're seeing teams starting to run away with the T side.
Well, this starts to break the mold a little bit, and I think more teams will become aware of that, I guess you could say. They'll start to consider the fact that this is possible. Lovely flash back in. Get Right finds one, smartly gets away for the reload, but there's a gap on that side too. And Chris needs to be a little bit careful. Forrest is going to find Mages. This is almost perfect. Dancing around and Get Right. Lovely shot. Config falls, and suddenly NiP pull around back. We may still have a game on our hands because 15-14, there'll be guns drawn out for NiP this time.
Yeah, down of an out apparently. We have another port coming in. This feels like
Diggy's going to use their second tactical.
It feels like, I'm not sure, but still. Yeah, I guess they probably had one more left over. Okay, then. That's kind of nuts. Not dropping a single player there with scouts and CZs. I didn't see that one coming.
The flash timing was brilliant as well.
Okay, we could actually go overtime here. That's a real possibility now. I thought that was done. And
I think the interesting thing as well is with teams slowly warming up to this map, Dignitas kind of leading that charge. G2 playing it a little bit, NiP obviously wanting to play it, Na'Vi flirting with it. It's going to become more and more play because there's other default bans that every team has. So if teams are warming up to it, this will slip in as a third map, I think, quite regularly. I think that's a high possibility. And if one team leads the way, everyone else adapts and the meta starts to shift. It's pretty straightforward in that sense.
Well, all roads lead here, especially for NiP. One round required to get us to overtime. Full reset at that point. Both teams showing pretty poor CD halves, I have to say, overall. I guess NiP, their T-side was pretty tremendous and a great financial control. But the CT side has left a lot to be desired, I have to say. We'll see what happens here. Round number 30. Was that thunder?
Sounds of thunder or someone rolling a chair above her head. I'm not sure, but if that's thunder in São Paulo, I want to go dance in this rain. But let's not get too romantic here, Henry. And no, I don't want to dance with you.
Thank God.
Just kidding, I do. Michael trying to find a shot toward the ramp room. AWP drawn and ready. Off angle to play. There's a nifty little smoke I'd love to see from Anders' Theorycraft be used at some point in time with the one-way on the bottom of the pillar that actually favors this position from Michael, but it's very situational.
Yeah, it sounds difficult to throw.
It's actually not. You hug the wall and right-click.
Right, okay.
But it's a matter of getting into that position to do it and not having the information of throwing it, timing, etc. But either way, it's going to be Skylight, Molotov, drop down, left side hut. No one throwing the heaven one that we have seen used. Lovely nade. MSL and config, eat that. Every bit of the shrapnel. Get Right rotating early toward the inner site, though. This will give up despite the gap in the smokes. Again, the secret stairwell. And with no one yet to rotate down, this is actually quite good for Dignitas despite being down. They can get very frantically in toward the lower site and cause chaos. Rotations first need to come from Michael Lele on the AWP. No one pushing ramp. He can elect to do so. But the second one's inside the vents. They're going to be late. They're already at the corner. They're already passing the crossfire. And a first shot immediately into Freiburg. Massive problems now for NiP as they go down a man and have to retake what is going to be the lower site. And Get Right's going to fall to config. Waiting for that rotation. Robino, he gets Forrest. And config walking in. It's only Michael Lele, the last man alive coming from vent. They know where he is. Molotov smokes everything in his way. And I dare say his hopes lost. It dashed. Dignitas getting by. And once again, a very passive position towards outer where Get Right gives up on the insides of those smokes. And Dignitas capitalize. In he goes. It's going to be assassination from Magus on his left. And NiP, they'll fall 16-14 in the end to Dignitas. Great T-side from them.
Yeah, never gave up at that point. You can see how much that means to them. Losing 11-4 in the first half in the CT as well. That's nuts. They brought it back. What a team these guys are turning out to be. Never giving up and managing to pull that game back. Great T-side from them. NiP have got to be gutted after that one.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's partly why Dignitas are trying to cheer so much. Obviously, yeah, it's group stage. I think they were just kind of having a little bit of fun with that huddle, but also to get in the mindset, perhaps, of NiP. Sitting close together, they can definitely hear each other in a studio environment. It's kind of one of the fun things that we do see. We saw Splice try and do it at the major and in the major qualifiers.
That's right.
And some teams definitely were kind of annoyed by it. So it still has somewhat of an effect. NiP, they go 1-1 on the day. They're not done by any means, but very good foot forward from Dignitas, who have secured themselves, I think, as the second best team in the world.
Yeah, for sure. I would say that's fair. Well, great game to finish the day off, Matt. And we're going to throw it over to the analysts right now. Alex and the boys. And guys, please take it away.
Kappa Pride.
An awesome celebration for an awesome comeback. Dignitas down 11-4. They get 4 rounds on the favorable side. Come to T-side. It looks like all hope is lost, and they prevail. Quite the storyline, and Rugger has got a sweat on his brow and a slight bit of excitement on his face. As yes, it may be group stages. Yes, it doesn't necessarily mean, you know, everything for this tournament, but it is a huge, huge defining moment, I think, for Dignitas, proving that they can really do it anywhere on Nuke.
Butt cheeks were definitely clenched there, Alex, especially
squeaky bum
after
time.
that. Especially after that, you know, loss against Pistols.
Yeah.
when they were already at 15 rounds. But yeah, I mean, an amazing comeback, easiest prediction of my life, of course. Of course, everything going according to plan.
I think that first half by NiP was really good. It was really well structured.
Yeah.
Henry was touching on how they were using the yard smokes to obscure vision and get down secret quite a lot. And then from there, they were using that to fake later in the half and hitting topside, forcing rotations out of Dignitas. It's really good. That's the type of Counter-Strike I like to see. And they had a fantastic half. Unfortunately, Dignitas showed a lot of resilience. Well, not unfortunately. Fortunately for them. And they were able to bring it back.
I mean, I'm a bit disappointed that Dignitas won this game because of the way how they played that second round.
Yeah.
Because how they got cocky after they got 3 entry kills. So they were in a 5v2. And then people just started re-peaking and challenging more. Especially what that we mentioned it in the pregame. Like that's what they, kind of improved on that in their game. And after that, they could have easily won that. That was basically a 1 round at that point, and they lose it. They lose the first gun round. It starts like 5-0 down. They were 10-1 down, I think. It was the score, something along those lines. So, yeah, I mean, definitely you think that the game is over at that point. But they show the power. It's what we mentioned also in the pregame, the power of winning T-pistol on you. That gives you room to experiment. That gives you room to take a bit more risk in the gun rounds. And when that pays off, as it did in this case, it gives you more to work with than you would have otherwise.
I really like the T-pistol from Dig. They threw the smoke in front of Squeaky Door, which also obscured vision so they could go down the vent. But they walked, and then once they got to the vent, then they broke it and dropped down. I'm not sure if Config, though, I would like to see it from his point of view. He was with that pack, but he ended up going out towards like Mini and like just getting a frag. And I was like, was he meant to do that, or did he get lost going in the smoke down the vent? But it was a good round. And it was well played and caught NiP off guard.
All intentional, of course.
Of course.
Always.
Any headshot.
All scoring according to plan.
Intentional. And then, of course, a couple of words towards NiP and that conceding a loss like that. I don't know whether do we criticize their structure here? I mean, we will sing the Dignitas name from the hilltops and praising them for a comeback. But surely a comeback of that magnitude cannot take place without errors on the other side of things.
I mean, errors. NiP, knowing how big of a lead they've had a lot of eco rounds. I mean, you can't really blame them for that. They realized that they only need a couple of gun rounds to take the game home. Why risk it with half buys and pistols and everything? Unfortunately, in some of those rounds, they were outplayed by Dignitas. Some of those rounds, it was, I don't know, even if I can call it a mistake. I mean, you had a round where Dignitas just walks ramp behind Cajun with the op. He gets the entry kill. Then they just get good trades coming into the bomb site. Maybe a bit unlucky, but when I think that everything went Dignitas' way in the second half. They got all the good reads and good plays.
There was one good solution that NiP came up with. It was the double AWP, and they were able to, what happened was they got the AWP pick outside. Forrest got the kill, I think it was on config, and then it basically just funneled all the members of Dignitas back into top site. They just got mowed down one at a time as they tried to enter on that bomb site. Unfortunately, as soon as Dig knew that they were running the double AWP, as soon as they get a bomb site, they've won the round. It's so difficult to retake a site with 2 ops, and you saw that the 2 ops were the last 2 alive. They couldn't get in. It was just
also, you pointed out it was maybe exactly that round where Magic just coming in from Mini.
Oh, that shot!
Gets a
Jesus Christ!
Shot. He only sees like the tip of the head of the player on hut. And then they proceed just to wreak havoc on the upper bomb site. Even though NiP has 3 players there, you see that's the round where you maybe see the power of drafters. By chasing away NiP from that yard area, MSL is able to sneak sneak towards heaven. After they get the initial kill, that's when he comes into play, and they just split the upper bomb site.
That's good stuff.
Good stuff all round. Of course, if you are an NiP fan, the weather here in Sao Paulo is a little bit of that pathetic fallacy. There is a thunderstorm, heavy rain, and we're looking forward to a nice wet walk home. I'm joking, the shuttles, of course. But either way, it's been a great day here, and of course we can recap the scores on the doors during our first day of play. Of course, Group A and B did go down, despite Group A operating at a little bit of a loss. I was hoping we could bring that up in a visual, easy to digest chunk, and we can. Of course, started with North America. It was Optic and Liquid that did meet first, and Optic dispatched them rather swiftly over on Terrain. We didn't get to see that again with Liquid versus Mouse Sports, and you can see as we did progress through the day, there was an abundance of surprises. FaZe and Cloud9 going right down to the wire. A full 30 rounds between those guys. NRG and Dig quite the opposite, and as you can see, as they're all summarized in front of you there, Dignitas getting that 2-0. We said it was going to be a question, Dig or NiP, and it's going to be the Danes that take 2-0.
The biggest question for me for Group B is who are we going to see? You know, we obviously want to see SK get through for that home ground kind of final thing going on there. You've got NiP, Dignitas, who's the other one?
FaZe,
Cloud9,
Dig,
and then FaZe are like the outliers, right? So that's a team where a lot of them you want to see get through to the final stages. We're only going to see 3, and right now it's not looking fantastic for SK. you know, they lost that game. They looked a little bit lackluster, but hopefully they come back tomorrow more
It's true.
fire in their bellies.
Definitely so, but NiP is one of the stronger opponents in the group.
that's
Probably the 3 strongest teams when you look at the group, you would say that it's NiP, Dignitas and SK.
Yep.
So in theory, if they don't lose games to Cloud9
Yeah.
phase, they're still in they're still in a good position to go through the playoffs in some spot. But I mean, SK has been looking shaky. They haven't been looking like the SK that's the best team in the world. So we'll have to see how they fare against those teams.
We can have a quick look at what those games tomorrow are going to be. SK will have some matches, as will the majority of all teams here. So we can go ahead and bring up tomorrow's schedule just to make a nice, easy way for you to visualize exactly what is going to be coming up. I assume that's at least what I have in front of me, but maybe not. Okay, I don't have it in front of me.
I think it's. I think that game just showed why we always mention NiP and Dignitas when we talk about the best teams on Nuke, because they've shown that how big of a playbook they have on the T side. That it doesn't only evolve around splitting the lower bomb side, going secret and everything, and it shows the power of having room to work with on the T side.
There we go.
There you go. Coming up tomorrow for Group A, you're going to be seeing a little bit of more of Immortals, of course, not getting off to the best of starts. We'll get to see them this time going up against Optic, not forgetting they did concede a very rather flimsy loss versus Envy today. And talking of Envy, they're going up against Liquid, looking to add another feather to their cap. And alongside that, SK's test is going to be a double-barreled one. It's going to be FaZe and Cloud9. 2 teams, of course, we saw manage to clash at E-League. Now they're going to be doing so here in Brazil. And following that, you get NRG NiP and FaZe versus Dig. That could be quite the good game, actually, getting to see Carrigan taking his men to battle again versus both SK and Dig. Quite a stacked day tomorrow.
Carrigan
actually.
versus MSL.
Yeah, good matches tomorrow.
We talked about Danish in-game leaders today. We get to do it much more tomorrow. All right, guys, it's been a good first day. Did you get to see any of the Sao Paulo sun? I mean, you went out for dinner once, right?
Yeah, had some nice food
Yeah,
across the road. That was
good.
really good.
We were together at that dinner.
Well, you walked across the road with me. I mean,
Yeah.
Actually, you somehow crossed magically before Yanko and I did. I don't know how it happened. We went out there before you, and then you
Yeah.
were on the other side.
He doesn't care about cars running through.
Yeah,
No,
standard.
I'm just used to it.
Guys
Back in
not
my
wearing
hometown.
shoes.
All right. It's been a pleasure, guys. This has been our first day here of the ESL Pro League live from Brazil. There's so much more to come, as you did see, and hopefully you guys do be sure to join us tomorrow at exactly the same time for exactly the same amount of games. It's going to be awesome, guys. We hope to see you there, and hope to hit us up with a hashtag ESL Pro League for what your expectations are for tomorrow. See you then.